y aura du son. Le podcast qui lève le voile sur la création musicale. Podcast numéro 1, Joseph Arthur.
Hi everyone, today I'm launching my podcast Tant qu'il y aura du son, as long as there's sound, and my first guest is the American singer-songwriter Joseph Arthur. So I'm not hiding the fact that it's a bit unreal, but Joseph is one of my biggest influences and artist I have the utmost respect for. So I hope he will be indulgent with me. It's a first for me. Hello Joseph, how are you?
I'm well, thank you, Nico. It's amazing to be here. I'm glad to be your first guest, and thank you for the kind introduction. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. So I have some question.
Okay, let's do it.
It's a simple question.
Yeah.
When did you start playing music? And are there any musicians in your family, or is it a complete coincidence that you became a musician?
I became a professional musician in high school as a bass player. I was in this blues band called Frankie Star and Chill Factor, and we played 5 nights a week in Cleveland bars. So before that, my aunt gave me an analog synthesizer, and I started composing synth music when I was like 13 or 14, very young. I played piano when I was really young. There's no musicians in my immediate family. My grandmother had a piano and a violin and played a little bit, but my parents did not play music, and they got my sister a piano, and I sort of de facto started taking piano lessons, and then it just glommed on to music as like my primary identity. I loved the band Kiss, and so I got into playing bass, and then I just wanted to be a jazz fusion bass player. I was really kind of technical at bass, and so I ended up becoming a professional in playing 5 nights a week in the bars in high school. And then I didn't really start singing until I was 21. And then I ended up making like a demo tape that ultimately got me a record deal with Peter Gabriel and sort of set me on this journey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yeah.
So you released your first album at the age of 25. How did you encounter with Peter Gabriel's Real World label?
So I just made, this was in the 90s, like 95, I was making cassettes. It was the first time I wrote songs. I had written songs, I was like a slap and pop technical bass player, like Primus or like, the Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Okay.
And so everything was technical, and there was bands I made like that. But then I made a demo tape where it was just acoustic guitar, and I was just playing simple chords, and my focus switched to lyrics and melody.
Yeah.
I no longer cared about technical aspects of the music. I just cared about lyrics and melody.
Okay.
So it was like a seismic shift in approach.
Okay.
And the very first set of songs I wrote with that mentality got to Peter Gabriel. Because I gave that cassette to a friend, and then he knew somebody who worked at a record label in Atlanta, and then that guy sent it to a guy in New York, and then that guy gave it to Peter Gabriel, and then he called me up, and History was on that first tape. It was like because Peter liked my lyrics, basically, I think is why. Because I was barely singing then too. I had only been singing for a couple years, so I was definitely had imposter syndrome,
Oh yeah, I know that.
Yeah, we all have it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, less and less I have it. Like that's the kind of the breath work I do before. It's like it's to circumvent the ego, because it's not your friend. Like the more you can just be present and let go. That's like the most important aspect of life, I think, and across the board, but especially also performing. Because the ego kind of is just an interference.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's difficult.
It is.
You must have a little bit of ego when you're an artist. A little bit, but...
I don't know. I mean...
It's not so...
It depends on what you're calling the ego. Like,
to show up in front of a lot of people.
Yeah, but the more present you are and the less needy you are in front of those people, the better your performance is going to be. The more you're coming from a place of wanting to actually give something to them rather than get something from them, that's like the work, I think, you know, because, and that's been a long road for me to even really understand that, you know. I definitely have done plenty of performances where I was trying to get something from the audience or get approval or get like love or, you know, and it's about giving love and being a conduit of love. Okay. You know what I mean? Not to get too hippie, but it's true though.
Yeah, it's true.
It actually is true.
It's true because it works for you.
Thanks.
When you play, all the people feel what you are giving to them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
You're trying to give something, you know.
And let's talk about songwriting. Do you have a modus operandi, a particular way of working? For example, do you start with a melody or write the lyrics? Or do you start with the lyrics and find the melody?
I mean, oops, let's see. I got this. Like, I wonder if this is in tune. It is. Wow, cool. Let's see. I will be your simple light. You are mine. I don't know. I'm just like trying to give you an example of a song I'm working on right now. I will be your simple light. I can't remember it. Anyway, I don't really know if I do I mean, sometimes I'll write like long lyrical things and then I'll just fit that into chords. Yeah. But mostly it's like strumming some chord pattern that lends itself to like a melody that will then sort of suggest lyrics. But it's a pretty mysterious process, really, because it's difficult to put names
it's
to it.
It's mysterious, but do you sometimes feel that you're not in control of your art, as if something or someone were whispering you in your ear, your song, your words, and your melodies?
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I mean, if you think about it, like, like, where do your thoughts come from?
Yeah.
I mean, have you thought about that much?
Yeah.
Like, where do thoughts come? Like, well, in the Bible it says our battle is with principalities, not with flesh and blood. So principalities or demons or angels, whatever principalities are, they're what we're dealing with, not flesh and blood. So it's all very mysterious, you know. But I again, it's like practicing meditation and becoming more present, because if you think, it's really as simple as, like, if you're following thoughts, that's you're in the past or in the future. That's like thought identity. But if you're in presence identity, then to me that's another way of saying you're identifying with consciousness or in the presence. And then from there, it's like God consciousness, I think. Yeah. And then I think he communicates through revelation. Like little insights, like when you get a great idea that's not fear-based or something, it kind of flashes. It's really quick. You know, it's not really like words like, son, do this. It's not like that. It's just like this, like, poof. And then you're like, you know what I mean? It's like it's revelatory. Yeah. You know, so I don't really remember what the question was, but it was about songwriting. Like where
if you feel some time that the idea is not yours.
Of course.
It's from another place.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, I think we're tuning rods. You know, and I think the more we can tune to presence, the better off we are in every aspect of our life.
Okay. And what's your secret to staying creative and not getting too involved in controlling everything, like me?
Yeah, I don't have I have the opposite problem of you, or the opposite problem of the controlling thing. I'm like too much the other way. Like my work is to become more controlling.
Okay.
See, like, you know what I mean? Like I'm like so not that way that it has damaging effects in other aspects of my life, you know? And it's like with the new record, like Lance Davis, who's a good friend of mine in Arizona, he started helping produce and mix it, because I'll record things all the time and tons of stuff, and I can mix them pretty good. But like they're like, to get them zeroed in and really hone in and really like pick apart every drum thing and all that, I don't do that. I just don't do that. You know what I mean? Like it's just not. So I'm more like always wanting to like throw paint on the wall and then walk away, you know, but somebody's got to clean it up, you know what I mean? Like, so for me, it's natural to not be controlling. It's just as easy as can be. Like, and I don't know why that is. I don't know why some of us are. I get how it would be frustrating to be the opposite of that too, but it's also frustrating to be to not be controlling enough, I think, you know, or organized. You know, like that's why I'm glad Amelie is with me, because she's organized.
Yeah. Are you a music gear geek looking for the latest machine that will enable you to be even more creative or even more lazy? Yeah. Or are you, on the contrary, eliminating things around you over time?
I've been that a lot, you know, the music gear geek, like obsessed with guitar pedals or whatever, but I'm less like that now. I'm very much, I don't really care. You know, like even on this tour, I've only have one guitar with me, which is really weird. I normally always make sure I have two. What if something happens? But like, I'm just like, whatever. Yeah. And I have like, you know, multi effects and I have old stuff. Like my voice effects is super old. Yeah. You know, I don't know. I'm not a huge gearhead. I have a really nice microphone at home where I do like my vocals in, and you know, I record in Ableton. I have Push 2, so I can program beats super easy with that. I'm good at that. And then, whatever, I got basses, guitars. I got a Moog 1 synth, which is an amazing synth. Like, and that's like fine, you know. I would love to get like a really nice piano as well or something, but nah, I don't really have a big gear fetish anymore right now. I'm not really that worried, but I'm sure like it'll probably rear its ugly head again.
Okay, thanks. And now the logical follow-up to the last question. What do you think about artificial intelligence in music nowadays?
It's kind of interesting. I mean, I was writing a blog a few months ago, and I would I would say, give me an image for this, and I would put the whole blog in it, and it would, this was imagery, not music, but it would give me like real interesting, it all kind of looked the same, like the AI stuff, it's all like, it has a certain look to it, but it's interesting. It's to me, it's just a creative tool. I'm not freaked out by AI in terms of, you know, like Elon Musk says, it's like infinitely more intelligent than human beings. I think it's like, it depends on how you measure intelligence. Because to me, the greatest measure of intelligence is the human imagination. Mm-hmm. And the human imagination, like Neville Goddard says, is the voice of God. Mm-hmm. And so we have access to that. AI does not have an imagination. It has information that can
mix,
that can mask for imagination. It can ape imagination because it has the records of all the human imagination that's gone before, and that's powerful, you know. But who knows as to like what that's going to do to, you know, the music business and the art business in the future. I mean, it's kind of scary, I guess, but, you know, it's like, what can we do about it? You know, I mean, hopefully the result is people become more sensitized to what makes something human-based, and that becomes of more value. Hopefully it doesn't just take over. But if you want to like talk about just sort of generic pop music that a lot of people end up making, it's going to be able to do that better. Like, it's going to be able to do that. It already can, to a point where you can't really distinguish between human and that, because already humans have decided to take out their humanity in that music that they're making for commercial aspects. Yeah. So then if the humans have thwarted their humanity themselves, then AI is going to beat them. Yeah. But like for artists like us that are like diving into our humanity, hopefully we have a lane here. Yeah. But eventually maybe AI will even be able to do like vulnerability and like, you know.
I don't think so, but
I don't know. Probably not. Who knows? I don't know. But I mean, I'll use it. I would use it. I would mess with it. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not against it. You know.
Okay, so can you tell us a bit about your new album? What themes does the new album address? Has the COVID crisis impacted your writing in any way?
Well, I mean, it probably impacted my writing, I guess, because, well, I mean, I went through this whole crazy thing because I started speaking out about that, and then I got, like, you know, a lot of vitriol from the crowd, and then that was a wild thing. I became a broadcaster. I kind of, like, my music sort of career got sidetracked. I became a dad. I moved to Arizona. So it seemed like maybe... yeah, it just was this pause in like my music identity and a humbling. You know, it was very humbling because things I had like sort of foisted my identity on went away. And then I was just a guy taking care of a kid and like struggling and all that. And that's really good for you, you know? So on a personal level, being humbled has been very rewarding because... I don't know. It just is, because then when you go and say we're doing this little tour of France and we're playing like, you know, some of the conditions are rough. We're playing small places, but like thankfully like people are coming. They're packed. It's like such a great energy. And the amount of gratitude I have is overwhelming. It's intense because it's like I didn't know that would ever happen again, you know, just to be back in France and doing this. So, I mean, the themes on the record reflect that because there's a lot about, like, when you get to that dark night of the soul or you get humbled or you go through dark places towards transformation. And I don't even want to just cast it as dark because it was also light. But, you know, for me, my reaction is to seek God and to pray a lot and to, like... go in that direction. So the record is reflecting that a lot. There's a lot of songs that talk about spiritual things and stuff like that, like demons and like, there's quite a few of them. But also, I don't want it to be all that. Like while I'm taking the temperature of playing live, I'm realizing, you know, my music always has like brought up God and may God's love be with you and in the sun and stuff like that, and even referencing Jesus throughout my career. But I don't want to get too heavy with that. So there's a lot of those songs. So then there's a bunch of other ones that I had that I'm thinking about putting on the record to sort of diffuse that aspect of it a little bit. Because when I'm playing live too, I don't want every song to be about God. It gets too heavy-handed. You know what I mean? I want some of that, but then I want some other things too. Yeah. Like, because then it's like it's more entertaining. When you're playing live, you start to like see how you can, especially solo. Yeah. You realize you have to make things very dynamic and change things around and do things just to keep people engaged, or at least in my imagination. So I'm dealing with that with the record. The record's not finished, but that's the other thing. Now people are putting out 25-song records because of streaming. So I have that many songs. I have like 50-something songs or probably more. Yeah. So I'm thinking about putting out something very long and sort of to reflect this whole last few years because it goes together, you know? So I think it's cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
So we are waiting. For the new album.
It'll be soon. Yeah.
So we have finished, but what can we wish you for the future?
Just love and presence and peace. You know, what about you?
The same thing. Thank you to be here, and
Thanks
thank you for kindness.
Me. Oh yeah, this was fun. This is great. I see this is going to take off. This is Mach 1 right here.
Yeah,
we did the maiden voyage.
You did the first episode of my podcast. I'm so proud of it.
That's amazing.
Very. I'm very happy. So
I'm happy too. Thank you, my friend.
Thank you, and see you. Bye bye, and
bye bye.
See you.
Bye, everyone.
Merci.
Merci. Yeah, we did it.
C'était Tant qu'il y aura du son, un podcast proposé par Nico Sarro au studio Ougga Mougga.